Sri Gurubhyo Nama children, welcome to online session. Today I am going to start with civics. We have not started civics so far. The first lesson in civics is power sharing. And now I am going to give the introduction part. What is power sharing? Why do we need power sharing? How it helps for the democracy to sustain? Everything we are going to see in detail. With this chapter, we resume the tour of power sharing. Already we have started in the year 9th standard. Already we have started the tour in the 9th standard. We are going to resume our tour in 10th standard. In this chapter, we are going to talk about power sharing. And already we got information in 9th standard that power should not be on the hand of a particular organ. Power should not rest on one particular organ of the government. Instead, power should be divided. There should be division of power. Power should not rest on the particular organ in the government. Or do you know that there are three different organs? Legislature, executive and judiciary. So, power should not rest on a particular organ. It should be divided. Why it should be divided? If a particular organ has complete powers in his hand, if there is no power sharing, definitely it will lead to conflicts in the society. And people, those who are there in that particular country, they will not be united. Always there will be conflicts. So, power should be divided. So, here we are going to talk about sharing of power or division of power. So, in this lesson and as well as the other two lessons, we are going to stress, we are going to see the importance of power sharing, and there are so many forms of power sharing we are going to see, that is power sharing among different organs like legislature, executive and judiciary. Power sharing among different levels of the government like central government, state government and local self-government. Power sharing among different political parties and pressure groups. Power sharing among different social groups. All these things we are going to see in detail. And in this lesson, this power sharing lesson, in the beginning we are going to discuss about two different countries. There are stories about two different countries. One is Belgium, another one is Sri Lanka. Both are democratic countries. Both countries have democratic form of government. So here these stories, tells us how democracy enables the power sharing principle, how it enables the power sharing principle. We are going to see from these stories we are going to know the importance of power sharing, how power sharing sustain democracy. All these things we are going to see in detail. So to start with, I am going to introduce about Belgium. Belgium is a small European country. So Belgium is a small European country. When you talk about the population of Belgium, it is over 1 crore, that is more than 1 crore, and which is compared to the population of the state of Haryana. So first page we are going to discuss about Belgium. So Belgium is a small European country. And we are going to say what is the ethnic composition of Belgium. Who are the different community people who live in Belgium. We are going to talk about ethnic composition, ethnicity. So ethnicity is nothing but a social division based on shared culture. So to start with, I am going to talk about Belgium, which is a small European country. So Belgium is a small country in Europe, smaller in area than the state of Haryana. When you compare the area of Belgium with that of Haryana, so the area is very small when compared to that of Haryana. So when you talk about the area of Belgium is small when compared to that of Haryana. And when you talk about the the borders, to which countries it has borders, this Belgium has borders with France, Netherlands, Germany and Luxembourg. So this Belgium has borders with France, Netherlands, Germany and Luxembourg. So I told about the area of Belgium. It is smaller in area when compared to Haryana. The next one, we have seen the borders. This Belgium has borders with France, Netherlands, Germany and Luxembourg. And when you talk about the population of Belgium, so it has a population of little over 1 crore. So a little over 1 crore, it has got a population which is half of the population of Haryana. So when you talk about the population of Belgium, it is a little over 1 crore which is half of the population of Haryana state. And when you talk about the ethnic composition of Belgium, it is complex. We are going to say different communities in Belgium. So it is a complex composition. Belgium has the ethnic composition of Belgium is complex. So here the ethnic composition of this small country is very complex. So we are going to talk about the ethnic composition. Out of 100%, 59% of the Flemish region speaks Dutch language. We are going to see three different communities who speak different languages. That is 59% in Belgium. 59% of the people, they live in Flemish region. There are different regions. So 59% of the Flemish region, they speak Dutch language. So what is the language spoken by the people? Nearly 59% of the Flemish region, they speak Dutch language. So out of 100%, 59% of the Flemish region, they speak Dutch language. 40% of the Wallonia region speak French language. So when you talk about 40% of the population in Belgium, they live in Wallonia region and they spoke French language. So out of 100, 59% of the population, they lived in Flemish region and they spoke Dutch language. 40% of the Wallonia region, they spoke French language. So out of 100, 99% got over. The remaining 1% of the Belgians, they spoke German. So this is the ethnic composition of Belgium. So the ethnic composition of Belgium is, you will be getting a 3-mark question. Write a note on ethnic composition of Belgium. So what is the ethnic composition of Belgium? What is ethnicity? A social division based on shared culture, that is known as ethnicity. So here when you talk about the composition of Belgium, it is complex. It has a complex composition. Out of 100%, nearly 59% of the Flemish region, they spoke Dutch language. 40% of the Wallonia region, they spoke French language. So out of 199% got over. The remaining 1% of the people, they spoke German language. So this is the ethnic composition of Belgium. So the ethnic composition of this small country is very complex. Of the country's total population, so about over the total population, 59% they lived in the Flemish region and they spoke Dutch language. 40% of the people live in the Wallonia region and spoke French language. Remaining 1% of the Belgians, they spoke German language, and this is the ethnic composition of Belgium. So 59% of the Flemish region, they spoke Dutch language. 40% of the Wallonia region, they spoke French language. 1% of the Belgians, they spoke German. This is the ethnic composition of Belgium. And when you talk about in the country, when you see Belgium, in the country, who is the majority? The Dutch people were majority. Who were the minority? French people were minority. Because Dutch people were, Dutch speaking people were 59%. French speaking people were only 40%. So the majority of the people in Belgium was Dutch people, Dutch speaking people. They constituted 59%. But what is the drawback? They didn't get, their economic condition was very poor. because they didn't get any education from the government. They didn't get any concessions. For example, education. They didn't get any education from the government. Even though they form majority in Belgium, even though the Dutch speaking people form majority in Belgium, their economic condition was very poor. They had slow economic development. They don't have education. But when you compare these Dutch people with the French people were minority in Belgium. But even though they are minority, which is 40%, even though they are minority in Belgium, they had concessions, they had economic development, they had education. So they were found to be, rich people. Even though they were minority in Belgium, they were found to be rich and powerful. So they were very rich and they were very powerful also. Their economic condition was good. So this again another drawback. So in Belgium, what happened? Even though 59% of the Dutch people were there who were majority in Belgium, they didn't get the economic development. Their economic condition was very bad. They didn't get any educational opportunities, employment opportunities. Only in later years they got all these, development. But it is not so in case of, French. That is the Wallonia, that is 40% of the Wallonia region who spoke French language. They were minority in Belgium. Even though they were minority, they were found to be rich and powerful people. They had money. Their economic condition was good. They got education and other facilities. So this has made them to become rich and powerful. So this is a drawback in Belgium. So even though there are three different set of people, community people we have seen, 59% Dutch speaking, 40% were French speaking and 1% were German. But even though the Dutch speaking people were majority in the country, their economic condition was very bad. They didn't get the education and other opportunities. But when you talk about these French people, even though they are minority, even though they form minority in the Belgium, they were found to be rich and powerful. They had educational opportunities. Their economic condition was really good. So this has led to tensions. Because of this, there were lot of tension between the different communities in Belgium. So this is the situation. See, one set of people, they are getting all concessions in the society. They are found to be rich and powerful and they are dominating the other set of people. If this is the case in the country, definitely there will be conflicts. People, they cannot live peacefully. People, they cannot live united. There will not be unity in the country. So this will lead to the disintegration of the country, partition of the country. So that was the situation that prevailed in Belgium, because one community people, they had all concessions in the society. The other set of people, they didn't enjoy any concessions in the society. So this has led to the tension between two ethnic groups. One is, Dutch speaking people. The other set of people were French speaking people. So between 1950 and 1960, there were lot of tensions between these two communities, because there was no uniform system of opportunities and other concessions. Only one set of people is enjoying everything in society. The other set of people are completely they don't have anything in the society. Their economic condition was also very poor. So this is the situation that prevailed in Belgium. So I told about the ethnic composition. 59% of the Flemish region speak Dutch language. 40% of the Wallonia region speak French language, 1% of the Belgians, they spoke German. This is the ethnic composition. And I told the meaning of ethnicity, ethnic, a social division based on shared culture. People who belong to the, we can call it as, they will come from the same background. They will have similarity in their physical as well as in cultural beliefs also. And in such a case, we can call this concept as ethnicity or ethnic. So when you talk about the ethnic composition of Belgium, it is complex. So even though Dutch speaking people were majority in the country, they didn't get any concessions. Their economic conditions was very poor when compared to French. So French people were, they had only 40%, but they were found to be rich and powerful. They had educational opportunities, employment opportunities. Their economic condition was really good. So this led to the lot of tensions between the two, different groups between 1950s and 1960s. So this is one case. And when you talk about the capital of Belgium, for Belgium the capital is Brussels. When you talk about the capital of Brussels, the ethnic composition is like this. In Brussels, which is the capital city of Belgium, 80% of the people were French people and 20% were Dutch people. See the difference. You compare Belgium and Brussels. In Belgium, the Dutch speaking were majority, French speaking were minority. Whereas in Brussels, French speaking were majority, Dutch speaking were minority. See the case in both, there is a difference. So ethnic composition, both the cases is varying. So in Belgium, nearly, Dutch speaking people, even though they form majority, their economic condition was really bad. Whereas in case of Brussels, when you talk about the ethnic composition in Brussels, nearly 80% of the people were French speaking people form majority in Brussels, whereas only 20% people were Dutch speaking people. So this is about Belgium. So first I introduced Belgium. Belgium is a small European country, and when you talk about the area, it has got a smaller area when compared to Haryana. When you talk about the population of Belgium, it is little over 1 crore which is half of the population of Haryana. When you talk about the regions that borders Belgium, which are France, Netherlands and Germany and Luxembourg. And after that, I have introduced about the ethnic composition of Belgium, which is in Belgium 59% they lived in Flemish region and they spoke Dutch language. 40% lived in Wallonia region and spoke French language. The remaining 1% of the Belgians, they spoke German. This is one side. On the other side, when you talk about the Brussels, which is the capital of Belgium, nearly 80% of the people were French speaking, 20% of the people were Dutch speaking. In the country, the majority were Dutch, whereas in the capital, the majority were French people. So in the country, even though Dutch speaking people were majority, their economic condition was really bad. They didn't get any educational opportunities. And only in later years there was economic development. Whereas in case of French, even though they formed 50%, even though they were few, they were few in the country, they were found to be rich and powerful. They had concessions in the society. This has led to the conflicts between two different groups between 1950s and 1960s. This is one case. So, Dutch speaking presented a special problem. The Dutch speaking people constituted a majority in the country. So, when you compare the ethnic composition, when you talk about the composition of Dutch speaking people in the country, that is Belgium, they are the majority. Whereas when you talk about the Dutch speaking people in the capital Brussels, they are found to be minority. So, this is the case. Now, we are going to talk about another country. First, I have talked about Belgium. We have seen the area of Belgium and I have told about the ethnic composition of Belgium, how the ethnic composition varies from the country to the capital, and why a particular community people, they enjoyed privileges in the society, why their economic condition was really good when compared to other set of people in the society. That we have completed. The next one, we are going to start with Sri Lanka. So, Belgium is also a democratic form of country. Now, we are going to compare this Belgium with other country which is called Sri Lanka. So, Sri Lanka again it is also a democratic country. We are going to say the ethnic composition of Sri Lanka. Who are the people who lived in Sri Lanka? What is the ethnic composition of Sri Lanka? Again it is a 5-mark question. So, they will be asking you very, very important question repeatedly asked in the board. Write a note on ethnic composition of Belgium. Write a note on ethnic composition of Sri Lanka. So, Belgium already we have covered. Now, we are going to move to Sri Lanka. When you talk about Sri Lanka, it is a island nation, already it is a island country, island, all the four sides are surrounded by water. So, it is an island nation. It is just a few kilometers of the southern coast of Tamil Nadu, a few kilometers off the southern coast of Tamil Nadu, that is Sri Lanka, which is an island nation. It has about 2 crore people. So, what is the population? Nearly 2 crore people, which is the same as in Haryana. When you talk about the population of Sri Lanka, the population is 2 crore, which is the same when compared to Haryana. So, even Haryana has also got 2 crore population. So, yes, Sri Lanka has also got 2 crore population. So, population in both the cases were similar. And when you talk about the other nations in South Asia, whereas Sri Lanka has a diverse population. So, even in Sri Lanka, we can see different set of people in Sri Lanka, diverse population, we can see different set of people lived in Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka has a diverse population. We are going to see the major social groups in Sri Lanka. Who are the majority? Who are the majority in Sri Lanka? Sinhala speaking people. So, who are the majority in Sri Lanka? Sinhala speaking people. Sinhalas, they constituted nearly 74% of the population. So, nearly 74% of the population, they spoke Sinhala. What is the language spoken by them? Sinhala. So, Sinhala speaking people. To which religion they belong to? They were Buddhists. They belong to Buddhism. So, we are going to discuss about the ethnic composition of Sri Lanka. Like how we had discussed the ethnic composition of Belgium, even Sri Lanka is also a democratic form of government. We are going to see the diverse population of Sri Lanka. And here, when you talk about the majority, so who formed the majority in Sri Lanka? 74% of the Sinhala speaking people. So, 74% of the people, they spoke Sinhala language. And to which religion they belong to? They belong to Buddhism. So, nearly 74% of the Sinhala speaking people were there who formed majority. They formed majority in Sri Lanka. So, this is first case. And the Tamil speakers were also there who were 18%. So, out of 100%, 74% of the people were Sinhala speaking people who were Buddhist. 18% of the people were Tamils. Even in Tamils, there were two different groups. Sri Lankan Tamils and Indian Tamils. There were two different groups. Sri Lankan Tamils, they constituted 13%. So, here we are going to talk about the ethnic composition. The Sri Lankan Tamils, they constituted, what is that? They are the Tamil natives of Sri Lanka. So, they constituted 13%. And the 5% were Indian Tamils. Who are these Indian Tamils? Whose forefathers, they came from India during the colonial rule, who came as plantation workers during the colonial rule from India. We can call them as say Indian Tamils. So, there were two different types of Tamilians. One set of people were Sri Lankan Tamils. Sri Lankan Tamils, they were Tamil natives of Sri Lanka. Who are the Tamil natives of Sri Lanka? We can call them as Sri Lankan Tamils. How many percentage? They constituted 13%. The 5% of the people were Indian Tamils. Who are these Indian Tamils? These Indian Tamils, their forefathers who worked as plantation workers during the colonial rule in, what is that, India. So, we can call them as Indian Tamils. These Indian Tamils, they constituted 5%. So, out of 100%, 74% of the people were, that is that, Sinhala speaking people. And 18%, among the other 18%, 13% were Sri Lankan Tamils and 5% were Indian Tamils. So, who were Sri Lankan Tamils? Tamil natives of Sri Lanka. Who were Indian Tamils? The forefathers who came as plantation workers from India during the colonial rule, we can call them as Indian Tamils, and they constituted 5% of the population. So, out of 100%, 74 plus 18, it is 92. So, 92% got over. The remaining 8%, out of remaining 8%, 7% constituted Christians. So nearly 7% of the people were Christians and 1% of the people were Muslims. So this is the composition. So out of 100%, 74% of the people were Sinhala speaking people who followed Buddhism. They were Buddhist. And 18% of the people, there are two different Tamilians. One set of people were Sri Lankan Tamils who were Tamil natives of Sri Lanka. The other, they constituted 13% of the population. The other set of Tamilians, we can call it as Indian Tamils. These Indian Tamils whose forefathers, they worked as plantation workers during the colonial rule in India. They constituted 5% in Sri Lanka. So totally 92% got over. The remaining 8%, out of 8%, 7% of the people were Christians. And 1% of the people were Muslims. So this is the ethnic composition. So we are going to see in detail now. So here, when you talk about the Tamilians, I told about Indian Tamils, Sri Lankan Tamils and Indian Tamils, and I have given explanation for Sri Lankan Tamils and Indian Tamils. So Sri Lankan Tamils are where they are concentrated in the north and east part of the country. Where the Sri Lankan Tamils, we can see they are concentrated, where their areas are there, where their areas in Sri Lanka, these Sri Lankan Tamils, they are concentrated in the north and eastern part of the country. So Sri Lankan Tamils, they are concentrated in the north and eastern part of the country. Most of the Sinhala speaking people, already I told you, they are the majority. Most of the Sinhala speaking people are Buddhist. They followed Buddhism. While most of the Tamils are Hindus or Muslims. So the Sinhala speaking people, they followed Buddhism. They were Buddhist. Whereas Tamilians, they were Hindus or Muslims. So most of the Tamils were Hindus or Muslims. When you talk about Christians, there were 7% of the people who were Christians. So out of 100%, what is that, 82% or 92% already we have seen, 7% it is again, what is that, Christians. So they constituted 7% in the, what is the, Sri Lanka, whereas 1% of the people were Muslims. So these 7% Christians who were both Tamils and Sinhalas. So these 7% Christians, they were both Tamils as well as Sinhala. So this is the ethnic composition of Sri Lanka. Once again I will be repeating. So Sri Lanka is also a, what is that, democratic country. And when you talk about the ethnic composition of Sri Lanka, it is an island nation, already I told you. And it has a population of 2 crore, which is similar to that of Haryana. When you talk about the, what is it, Sri Lanka, it has also got diverse population. We can see different set of people. The majority of the people in Sri Lanka were Sinhalas. These Sinhalas, what is that, they spoke a Sinhala language who were Buddhist. So nearly 74% of the people were Sinhala speaking people who were Buddhist. They belong to Buddhism. And there were Tamilians, 18%. So how can we classify these Tamils? There are two different Tamils there, lived there. One set of people were Sri Lankan Tamils, the other set of people were Indian Tamils. Who were Sri Lankan Tamils? Tamil natives of Sri Lanka. We can call them as Sri Lankan Tamils. How many percentage they constituted? 13%. The 5% of the Tamilians were Indian Tamils. Who were these Indian Tamils? Whose forefathers, they worked as plantation workers during the colonial rule in India. We can call them as Indian Tamils. These Indian Tamils, they constituted 5% of the population. So out of 100%, 74 plus, what is it, 18, 92% got over. The remaining 8% was there. Out of the remaining 8%, 7% of the people were Christians. And 1% of the people were Muslims. When you talk about the Sinhala speaking community, they were Buddhist. When you talk about the Christianity, they were both Tamil as well as Hindus. And when you talk about this 7% Christians who were both Tamil, they were both Tamil and Sinhala. So when you talk about the, what is that, while most of the Tamils are Hindus or Muslims, when you talk about the Tamilians, they were both Hindus as well as Muslims. So when you talk about the Tamilians, they constituted both Hindus as well as Muslims. When you talk about 7% Christians, they were both Tamil and Sinhala. They were both Tamil and Sinhala. When you talk about Tamilians, they were both Hindus and Muslims. When you talk about Christianity, they were both Tamil and Sinhala. So this is the ethnic composition of Sri Lanka. So we have compared, we have seen the two different countries, both are democratic countries where we had ethnic composition. We can say we have seen different set of people lived in the country and how these people, what happened to their condition, what was their condition, whether all the communities are enjoying privileges in the society. So up to this I am stopping today. Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Thank you children. Tomorrow we are going to see with the other important, we are going to see what has happened after this. What is majoritarianism in Sri Lanka? Based on majoritarianism, what happened, how the country has been split. We are going to see in detail children. Up to this I want everybody to go through today. Don't overload your portions. Then and there you complete the lesson. Tomorrow I will be asking questions based on ethnic composition of Belgium and Sri Lanka. Thank you children.